Welcome dear students in one another session. Myself Darshana Sandeep Shinde from KK Institute of Pharmacy. Today we see the parasympathomimetic drugs, or it is also known as the cholinergic drugs. We divided our parasympathomimetic topic into two parts. First of all, this is the part first. Let's deal with the part first. Learning outcomes of our today's session. After watching this video, students should be able to understand the pharmacological action of acetylcholine with the muscarinic action and the nicotinic action. First of all, we see what is meant by parasympathomimetic agents or cholinergic drugs. Parasympathomimetic or cholinergic drugs are the agent which produces the action similar to those seen by the stimulation of the parasympathetic nervous system. These agents mimic the effect of the cholinergic stimulation. That means sympathetic, all the actions can be mimic or can be effectively produced by these drugs, and these are also mimic the effect. Mimic means to produce or to continue. These agents continue the effect of the cholinergic stimulations. We see the classification of parasympathomimetic agents. They are divided into ester cholines. Example of it: methacholine, carbacholine, bethanicol, acetylcholine. Then cholinesterase inhibitors. Example of it: neostigmine, organophosphorus compounds, and physostigmines. Then cholinomimetic alkaloids, in that pilocarpine, muscarine, and arecholine, and synthetic compound futraconium. In this session, we see the muscarinic action and nicotinic action of the acetylcholine. That means we see the ester of choline. In the next session, we see the cholinesterase, cholinomimetic alkaloids, and synthetic compounds. First of all, we see the ester of choline. Example of it: acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is available in the form of the powder as a chloride or bromide. It is rapidly hydrolyzed in the neutral or alkaline medium. Hence, its solution is to be preserved in the acidic pH. When given orally, it is destroyed in the gastrointestinal tract. These are the properties of the acetylcholine. Then we see the pharmacological action of it. Acetylcholine on the intravenous administration has no appreciable actions. This is because considerable amount of the acetylcholine is destroyed by the pseudocholinesterase in the plasma and by the true cholinesterase at the site of the action. That means if on a intravenous administration, it is not appreciable. It is destroyed by the pseudocholinesterase and true cholinesterase. Pseudocholinesterase present in the plasma, blood, kidney, and true cholinesterase at the site of the action. The pharmacological action of the acetylcholine can be divided into muscarinic action on the heart, smooth muscle, and the glands. Then nicotinic action on the skeletal muscle, then autonomic ganglia, and adrenal medulla. After that, we see what is meant by muscarinic actions. Muscarinic actions produced by the endogenous release or exogenously administration of the acetylcholine on the receptor of the organ with the postganglionic parasympathetic nerve supply are known as the muscarinic action. These actions can be blocked by the atropine. Atropine is the antagonist of the muscarinic action produced by the acetylcholine. These are the whether acetylcholine is endogenously released or exogenously administered. It is the receptor on the postganglionic parasympathetic nerves. These receptors are now known as the muscarinic actions or muscarinic receptors. Then its effect on the cardiovascular system. In mammals, acetylcholine depresses the SA node, slows down the heart rate, and may produces the cardiac arrest. It depresses the contractility and tends to produce the arterioventricular blockage by depressing the arterioventricular conduction. This is the effect of the acetylcholine on the cardiovascular system. It blocks the action of the heart. And then effect on the blood vessel. It causes the relaxation of the vascular smooth muscle and thus dilate the blood vessels. Mainly of the skin, mucous membrane can be dilated, blood vessels can be dilated. Then intravenous administration in the man, resulting in the flushing. And then the sense of the warmth in the skin. The blood pressure falls as the result of the decreased total peripheral resistance and decrease the cardiac output. That means if acetylcholine level is increased, the person feeling the warmth feeling in his skin, then flushing, redness of skin, and then warmth, and blood pressures is fall down, and total peripheral resistance decrease, and cardiac output is also decreased. Then effect on other smooth muscles. Acetylcholine increases the tone of the smooth muscle on gastrointestinal tract and thus increases the peristalsis. The sphincters are relaxed one. It contracts the smooth muscle of the gallbladder and urinary bladder also. Bronchial smooth muscle are constricted. This may cause the apnea. That means effect of the acetylcholine and different smooth muscle, GIT muscles and on GIT they increases the peristalsis. Sphincters are also relaxed. In a gallbladder, smooth muscles and urinary smooth muscles are contract, and bronchial smooth muscles also constricted by the ACH. Gland and secretions. Acetylcholine increases the gastric, intestinal, salivary and pancreatic, lacrimal, bronchial and nasopharyngeal secretions. All the secretions are increased by ACH. Thus, increased bronchial secretion along with the bronchospasm may result in the cough and the dyspnea. Dyspnea is the condition where is the small capillaries can be has the pain. As the postganglionic sympathetic fiber supplying the sweat glands are the cholinergic, and acetylcholine increases the sweating. Acetylcholine also responsible for increase the sweating. After that, effect on the eye. On instillation in the eye, acetylcholine does not produce any effect because it does not absorb. But injection of the ACH in the carotid artery produces the constriction of the pupil, that is meiosis. Then it also contracts the ciliary muscles, which result in the relaxation of the suspensory ligament of the lens. Then this reduces the tension on the lens, and the lens bludge into the anterior chamber, thereby increase its thickness and reducing the focal length. The vision therefore is fixed for the short distance. This is described as a spasm of accommodation. This is due to the acetylcholine. By producing the meiosis, acetylcholine reduces the intraocular tension by increasing the drainage of the ocular fluid. After that, we see the what is meant by nicotinic action. We see about the muscarinic receptor. Now we see the nicotinic receptor. Administration of the atropine block the muscarinic action of the ACH. In such condition, ingestion of the large dose of the acetylcholine still produces the certain action. These action at the autonomic ganglia, skeletal muscle and adrenal medulla. These are termed as the nicotinic action. These are referred as the nicotinic action because they resemble the actions produced by the administration of the nicotine, a naturally occurring alkaloid. In nicotinic actions, atropine is responsible for to block the action of the ACH, but we increase the dose of the ACH, its effect on the autonomic ganglia, skeletal muscle and adrenal medulla, which actions are known as the nicotinic actions. After that, we see its action on the autonomic ganglia. Acetylcholine induces the stimulation of the autonomic ganglia, which results in increased output of the acetylcholine, non-adrenaline from the postganglionic parasympathetic and sympathetic nerve ending. respectively. The release of the non-adrenaline increase blood pressure by inducing the peripheral vasodilation. Then next effect on the adrenal medulla. Large dose of the acetylcholine also stimulate the adrenal medulla to increase the secretion of the adrenaline, which further increases the sustained rise in the blood pressure. Then skeletal myoneural junction. Acetylcholine release as a result of the stimulation of stomatic nerves or the administration at the large dose initially induce the contraction of the skeletal muscle. Nicotinic action on the skeletal muscle. There is a skeletal muscles are contracted. A very large concentration of the acetylcholine at the myoneural junction can produce the paralysis of the skeletal muscles. To produce the paralysis, very large concentration of ACH is needed. After that, we see the miscellaneous action of ACH. Acetylcholine is the neurohumoral transmitter at a certain sites in the certain nervous system. On the intravenous administration, it does not cross the blood barrier and hence it does not exert any significant central action. Therapeutic uses of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine cannot be employed for any therapeutic purpose due to the extreme transient action on various organs. That's why it is not employed for the therapeutic purpose. In this session, we cover the acetylcholine and acetylcholine's muscarinic action and nicotinic action. Thank you very much for attending this session.